This video is about course policies and logistics for 61B students. If you're not in 61B, you can skip this one. So first off, course staff do not control, that is me and my TAs, don't control your ability to get into the class. So if you're stuck on the wait list or something like that, we have no power to help. Instead, you should contact a major advisor. We're going to add everybody to the course platform. So that's Ed, our discussion forum, and Gradescope, which we use for submitting work. We're going to do that manually, and we're going to every day be resyncing. We ask not to email us at our official email address to be asking to be added unless you've waited more than 2 days. This is also true of concurrent enrollment students. Same deal. We're going to be adding you as well. Now, if you're wondering when do I officially get to be in the class, like in the system, usually takes like a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. But you should just proceed assuming that you're in the class if you're a concurrent enrollment student. We have never had to turn anyone away before. I can't guarantee you'll make it in, but I think you should be able to. Okay, in terms of how the class works. So lectures are going to give you an introduction and a foundation. I'm going to tell you stories. I'm going to give demos, but it's really just the beginning. What I learned, and what I think is generally accepted, is that you learn how to do things with practice. So writing code in the case of programming, and doing interesting math problems in the case of, well, the mathy side of the class. And we give you a lot of different types of practice with each of these two aspects of the course, the programming and the interesting problems, and that's really where you're going to learn. You can watch me talk all day, and you can leave the room feeling like, yeah, I really learned something, but where you really learn is with practice. Now, when I was 18 years old, I learned how to play the Dance Dance Revolution game. I don't know why I said it that way. I had a job in which I had nothing to do at that job. I had an internship, and I told my boss many times I had nothing to do, but they had nothing for me to do, so I went and played Dance Dance Revolution at the arcade next door. Now, when I first played, I looked roughly like these guys, and I lost the first song, I still remember. But then, over time, I got better and better. And through that, I actually learned that you get better with practice. Now, I should note, this is not me playing on the right, but I did get roughly to this level. And, I actually, just a few days ago, bought for my wife a couple of Dance Dance Revolution pads for her birthday, and I've been playing again recently. I'm 44 years old now. It's a little harder in some ways, but I still got it for now. Just think new things hurt, like my ankles. Like I never had. Why would your ankles hurt? I guess I can kind of see looking at this video. Anyway, I literally learned that practice makes you get better at things from playing this game, and it's I could have watched any number of Dance Dance Revolution lectures, but until I actually sat down and did it, or stood up and did it, I never would have got anywhere. In terms of the flow of the class, there's 3 phases. The first phase is this introduction to Java and data structures. We're going to build some lists. All of the coding work in this part is solo, and there's going to be lots of little deadlines. It's going to move really fast. It might be a little stressful, but there's a lot of little things you're supposed to do. And then it all comes to a crescendo whenever we have midterm 1. Midterm 1 is going to specifically test the programming skills that we get on the mini projects. And those 2 mini projects will be building a linked list-based list and an array-based list. But all of the work in this part of the class is all laser focused on that midterm, and the best way to study for that midterm is to do all those homeworks and mini projects. Okay? That's the first part. Things are fast. In phase 2, we're going to move on to data structures, and there'll be a little bit of software engineering. In this part, the pace of the class will slow a bit. The coding work is going to again be solo. The midterm at the end of this section is going to be more theoretical. And there'll be a big data structures design project in which we'll give you tons of freedom about how to architect your system. This will be your first taste of software architecting, which you have not done before probably. And basically these 2 components of the class are the end of phase 2. Finishing up your big programming project where you architect some software, and then we have a midterm which covers the theory parts of phase 2. Then in phase 3, we have our algorithms and software engineering part of the class. In this part, we'll talk about like sorting algorithms. We're going to slow the pace. Everyone's pretty tired at the end of the semester. And then we're going to have some lectures about software engineering on Fridays typically, where I'll talk about like large language models or like the impacts of computing in society will be one of the lectures, that sort of thing. And I hope we'll learn some like a little more out of the box things in that part of the class, principally focused on skills, but also a little bit in the cultural arena. And in this part, the coding work is going to be all focused on the final project, and you'll be doing that in pairs. So those are the 3 pieces separated by midterms. There's 4 types of points in this class. Now, why do the points exist? Like, in an ideal world, we'd have no points. You'd just be so stoked to be in this class and do the work that you just do it. And actually, a lot of people do. I've had thousands of people go through and finish 61B's assignments who are not in the class. And if you're one of them, hello. Although I told you to skip this video, but I guess you can learn about us. But these points exist to incentivize you in a world where you have competing demands on your time. There's 3 types of points in this class that we expect everyone to get. The first are low effort. These are like the surveys. We're going to have surveys every week. Sorry, it's a little annoying, and you can drop some of them. But we want feedback, especially because they changed a ton of stuff this fall. So we want to be able to adjust the class on the fly to what you say. Then we have the medium effort version of these. Everyone should get them points, which will be the homeworks and mini projects. Here, it'll be a moderate amount of work, and we expect everyone to get all those points. And then we have the high effort points that everyone should get, and these are high effort. Now you might say, if these are the major projects for the class and they're a lot of effort, like why is the median score 100%? Well, it's because people really like to get the points that they can get. So these projects are pretty big. Like you'll write, 1,000 lines of code for each of them maybe. And so they take a lot of work, and I expect that the median score is 100%. The average will be lower than these 2 categories, but still, most people will get all the points. You should be one of them. Lastly, we have this category where we get most of the variance and people's scores, which are our exams. There's 2 midterms. There's the first midterm, which is all about the programming from the first 4 weeks. There's midterm 2, which is the theory section in phase 2, and then there's the final. And the mean score I aim for on these exams is around 65%, though midterm 1 may be a bit higher. I'm still kind of exploring that a bit. The final exam score that you get, if it's much better than your midterms, can actually replace them. I'm not going to talk about the mechanism here because this video is already going to be too long to hear about logistics, but all of that's on the website about letter grade assignments and so forth. I do not curve the exams. The points are, the exams are against what I'm trying to achieve is a well-defined definition of what your score should be. Like in advance, I'm going to say, I'm going to rationalize. Try that again. Now, the exact details about the point distributions, how many points go with what letter grade and so forth, that's all on the website. One thing I'll note is the exams are not curved. I'm going to rationally design these boundaries, and your performance in the class will be based on how well you do, not how well you do compared to everyone else. That's the goal. In terms of lateness, the lateness